Crayola colored pencils. We've probably all used them at some point in our lives, whether it was for a school project or just for fun when you were a kid. But what about when you want to create art that's on a higher level? Well, most of the time, people tend not to choose these colored pencils for their artwork. But I'm here to show you that you can use inexpensive art supplies to create good art. Hi everyone, I'm MC Art Guy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to properly use Crayola colored pencils. Alright, and before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button down there and put a like on this video. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so I just have the 24 pack of Crayolas, and it's very inexpensive, and that's what's nice, because you can make quality art with inexpensive supplies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a gradient from dark to light here. And now I'm just laying down very lightly, I'm not pressing too hard, and gripping towards the end of the pencil. Okay. And you're just going to want to just lay it down. Okay, so there you have it. You have a nice little gradient from a dark orange to a light yellow. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to shade. Now, when you're shading, you have to go from light to dark. Now with Prismacolors, you can go from dark to light, and you could do a nice smooth blend like that. But with Crayolas, you have to go from a light to a dark. So I'm just going to shade in this little ball I drew here. It's not the best looking, just a little quick sketch so you get the idea. And I'm going down with my lightest yellow that I have, and I'm just covering this whole space very lightly, which allows for layering. And layering is just when you go over a certain area that you marked up with your colored pencil or marker or anything, and you just go over it again and again. So you make layers and blending. So next I'm going to go in with my darker yellow, and I'm pressing a little bit harder so you can see the difference. And I'm just going to go around here. But I'm going to leave some room at the top. Okay, and the reason that I left the room that's still a little bit lighter on the top is because the light is coming at it from this angle. So it's going to be lighter here and then darker on the bottom, and it's going to cast a shadow. Alright, so then I'm going to go in with my darker orange and just continue going over this area here. And finally, I'm going to take my darkest color orange and I'm going to go and do the same thing. And every time that I'm going in shading here, I'm not going as far. I'm making sure that I leave areas where just the one color is noticed, but I still make sure that I blend it out. Okay, so there's just a simple little shading exercise tutorial I did. And another tip that I like to do when I'm using these Crayola colored pencils is I like to take the violet purple colored pencil, and that darkens areas, but it's not a complete sharp black. It's a soft, darker shadow that I add to it. And you'll see as I go along here how it adds a shadow without completely blackening up the piece. And that is good when you're trying to add soft little subtle shadows to your piece. Okay, so there are my shading tips and techniques. So So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a drawing with these Crayola colored pencils, and that's just going to show you that you really don't need expensive colored pencils or art supplies to make art. You can do good work with your cheap colored pencils. Well, not cheap, but less in price. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. So for my colored pencil drawing, I'm going to be drawing a Canada goose. Surprise, surprise, it's a goose. And if you want to see how I draw geese, I made a tutorial on how to do that, so I'll link that down below. And make sure you go watch that after you're done watching this. So I shall start drawing my Canada goose on here. Okay, so far I have went over my goose in the black area with my black colored pencil with the light shade, and now I'm just pressing very hardly to get the darker looking black. Okay, now the reason that I'm pressing very hard is so I can try to eliminate all of these little white specks showing through, because since Crayola isn't the super top fine quality brand, even though it's a good colored pencil, it just doesn't cover all of the little white areas like I'd like it to. So that's why I'm pressing very hard to get the desired solid one color just blocked in effect. Okay, so the black part of the Canada goose is done, and in the picture that I was looking at for my reference, it was a little bit lighter here, so I layered in some gray and then some black over it and just switched around with that. And now for his eye, to show a little bit of differentiation, I did go in with the Crayola white, and I tried to just make some marks around the eyes just to show that there's a separation or a break. Okay, so now we're gonna work on layering the eye. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in with my gray colored pencil and just fill that in there. And then I'm gonna take my purple colored pencil to do that, to try to create some depth. Okay, so next I think that we should move on to the beak. And I'm also going to use my white Sharpie paint pen to add a little bit of detail to the eye. Okay, it's dry. Un momento, por favor. Alright, so I think we got the color going again. There we go. There, now our Canada goose has a nice little white accent in his eye. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the beak. And since the beak is a similar color to his head, and the beak is black and his head is black, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to layer some blue down, and then I'm going to go over with my dark violet purple, and then I'm going to put down my layer of black over, just so it shows a different kind of black and that it is separate from the rest of the head. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to blend everything out here with my white colored pencil. And by doing this, it's going over it and it's sort of homogenizing everything. And it's just turning it into the one color without so many of the little white specks showing through. Okay, and I think I will just add a little bit more black here to show that it is separate from the face. Okay, so next what's on the goose is the little feather detailings by the neck. And I'm just taking my tan and I'm just lightly going in here for the marks of the feathers. And then as we go down, the feathers start to get a little bit more pronounced. So I'm just going to be pressing a bit harder on this tan, not by very much. Now the feathers, there's some white in between the feathers, so I'm just going to be making these shapes like this, going along the goose. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to shade the bottom of the feathers very lightly to show that there is some differentiation and just to add a bit more detail to the piece, make it look nicer. Next, what I thought I'd do, so it wasn't just the Canada goose with the blank background, I thought I'd try to spice it up a little bit, you know, gonna put a little bit of water in the background, maybe a few plants, and then yeah, that should be it. Okay, and to try to add some detailing to the beak, since I can't really get fine details that I want with this marker, I'm going to be taking my paintbrush and I'm going to be applying the amount of white that I want and how I want it, and I'll have a good amount of control over how it looks. Okay, so this is the finished piece, and I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. And I do hope to show that you really don't need expensive colored pencils or expensive art supplies to make good quality work. And I hope that I showed that to you today. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.